We're here after another disappointing match for Galatasaray. We end 2-2 against Çorum in a draw. And there's a lot of big takeaways that we could talk about definitely. But the biggest ones are we don't have any offensive backups for this team. Before we get into all of that, I'm just gonna say a little bit about the game. Gonna talk about the game, gonna go into some news, and then possibly look into, what the coach said or whoever made some announcements, and then give my own ratings and thoughts on, how the players played. So, firstly, I think Yunus, started the match very explosively, like very, very nicely. Dribbling was amazing, the passing was amazing, the link up play was amazing. Um, you know, it looked like, this is why we call him Turkish Messi. But, this happens for 2-3 weeks and he's gone for like a month because either injury or, fatigue, something like that happens to him. Which is annoying to see because he's an amazing player. I love Yunus. Um, and it's just disappointing to see that we don't have a current backup that can do that when he is fatigued or he gets an injury. We thought he was going to be injured in the first half. I think it was like the 40th minute, something like that. He went down and we played 10 men. That's where I think they got their like first decent shot on target because we were like 10 men down. We were in play without Yunus, and it was not good to see. And Yunus is injury prone, so we do need a backup for a cam, a number 10 slash a winger role, because Yunus can also play both those positions. So we're gonna need people like that. And I heard that Batrakov from Lokomotiv Moscow is almost a done deal, and we will be getting him soon. But it's just late. It's late. He's not gonna be. He didn't join the camp. He didn't join the Austria camp. He didn't join the Istanbul camp. He's not gonna be fully gelled with the team. Even though just the one camp isn't gonna make him gelled with the team either. But it's just problematic to see that these players are the transfers are starting to trickle in slowly, I guess, and because we knew we were going to do transfers, but the thing about them being late, and all of them being late, not just one, not just two, like 4 to 5 transfers are going to be late this season, is that they're just not going to gel with the team until like end of September, maybe beginning of October. They're going to be kind of getting in the rhythm of the team and getting to get decent playing time. But until then, we're going to have to stick with this type of like 11 for a good month or two, maybe I'll say a month and a half, maybe like that, because some teams or some players are going to be coming in, probably taking over the role pretty quickly, maybe, I don't know, hopefully. But other than that, the team was just, we in the first half we looked pretty surprising. I did like how we were playing a lot. We looked pretty fluid. We looked like we wanted to win. But just towards the end of the game we can't finish it off because we don't have the substitutes for not defensive substitutes. I'm not going to get into the defense yet, but we don't have the attacking substitutes. We had one player, and I'm going to actually switch to this tab right here. We had one player on the bench that's considered, maybe I'll say two, maybe that's considered a attacking player. It was İlkay Gündoğan's on the bench right here, as you guys can see, and then I'll say like half and half, Kazımcan Karataş and Eren Elmalı, because they could kind of play left mid, left wing, something like that, but they're both left backs. It's crazy to see because there's a goalkeeper. Eren is a left back, which is defensive. Ugochukwu was basically like a defensive type midfielder. İlkay is a kind of attacking midfielder, so that's one attacking midfielder or an attacking player. Kaan Ayhan's defensive midfielder, center back, right back, whatever. He's a defensive player. Niaga, midfielder, kind of a defensive role again. Kazımcan, left back that could play left wing sometimes, just like Eden. That's why I said half and half for them. And Ilkay is kind of the attacking midfielder that is mostly the attacking presence in this bench. Singo is a right back slash center back. He's a defender. Arda Ünyay, defender. Lemina, defender. There is not one person that could come into this game and change the course of the match by their attacking presence. Not one player. Maybe İlkay, I'm going to say. But İlkay's washed. We all know that he's not his same form. He's not from, Manchester City İlkay. He's not Barcelona İlkay. This is very problematic to see. This is a disgrace to the team. This is a disgrace to the 4 championships on top of each other, and we're trying to chase a 5th one now. Um, it's just crazy to see. And I mean, I know we're gonna do a couple decent transfers, and then we're gonna call it a day. We're gonna get like at least 2 to 3, probably 4 transfers, and call it a day till January, through halfway of this through the season. But like the stress and the problems that we had to face during this off season for no reason were just insane to see. And if we actually won the friendly matches, the preseason matches, and possibly won this game, our board might have said, okay, we're not going to need a lot of transfers. This team's doing pretty good. But this is not how this works. This is not how any team works. A team that loses gets new players. A team that wins gets better players to, fill in some roles, fill in some gaps to get better and better. It's just, unless you're going bankrupt. And a lot of fans are saying Dursun Özbek, the president, is, taking all the money and running away with it, and we're going bankrupt all of a sudden. But that's not the case. That's probably not true. It's just a joke. So it's just crazy to see, in my opinion. Okan Buruk, after the match, actually says, we don't have a number 10, attacking midfielder. Forvet is a striker and a winger on the bench. And we need these players, as in, like, we need to make these transfers, like, ASAP, because we don't have anybody to put into the game or, rotate in and out with Barış, Sane, Osimhen, Yunus. And, that's what we've been talking about the entire offseason. And we already started the season without any of those. And he's saying maybe 1, maybe 2, we're going to do a lot of meetings the fastest way possible. So hopefully that works out. And yeah, the fans, they're saying Yönetim istifa, which means, the board quit. Please quit. They're telling the president to quit, so we can get a new president, a new leader on this team. It's just a type of protest that's going on because but in Turkey people do this because they want something to change. It's not meaning exactly quitting. Just get the hell out of here. We want a new one. Even though half the fans currently do kind of want a new president, I would say this president's been running the team pretty decently. I'm not gonna lie, but it's just the stress that he puts us through during the off season is always very problematic, and it's just something we can't, handle with him for some reason. This is amazing news. It looks like we're going to be getting Alexei Batrokov from Lokomotiv Moscow, and it's going to be finished in the week, I'm pretty sure, unless we fail this too completely. So hopefully it's a done deal and we do get him. He's a very good. How old is he? Like 19 years old, 20 years old, 21, something like that. He's U23. He can make a big difference, but he's never played outside of Russia, so that can be a big problem for him. Hopefully he's up to the test. He seems like a young Mertens, some sort of like Yunus Akgün type player. Maybe not the speed with Yunus Akgün, maybe. I would say more so a young Mertens, which is like, I would love to see this guy play and do the Mertens effect for us, because if he can do that, we're set for a good 3-4 years with this guy, and then maybe we're gonna have to sell him on a couple years later, so that's gonna be sad to see maybe. But hopefully he is good and he actually delivers how he's been delivering for the Russian side. And then there's another news report saying that I think Deniz Gül's house got broken into at Porto in Portugal, and he's actually looking on to get transferred out of Porto. And there's a lot of Turkish clubs that are interested, especially Galatasaray being like, at the top of the list. Deniz Gül isn't a crazy player. He's all right. I watched him a lot for the Turkish national team. He's nothing crazy, but I don't know if he could do the second, striker role behind Osimhen, if he can, take over that role for him. I think this is what might happen actually if we do get him. Barış is going to become the second striker every now and then when Osimhen needs to sit down, or if he's injured and stuff like that. We play Barış at striker, and Deniz Gül still the backup, the third striker, and we do like a Sane Yunus type wingers situation. If we get John Uzum, we could kind of throw him out at left wing. Maybe we could throw him at striker, even though I don't think John Uzum is going to be coming. I would say if Badish plays striker, it would be a Yunus slash Sane, left wing right wing combination. Yeah. So, I mean, do I really want him? We can go for better players, in my opinion. But he is Turkish. He does look like he's improving slowly, even though he's kind of an all right player at the moment. If we can improve him somehow, make him some sort of target man, I mean, I'm down for it. But I just need to see that him reaching his potential, because he hasn't reached it yet. We see some potential in it, but it's not a big potential rise, so hopefully he can make that jump for his potential. And then here, this is the starting lineup that we actually went with against Çorum. And right under, as you guys can see, are the substitutions that were made. I didn't rate the substitutions, even though, I mean, I probably will comment on it in later videos if they make a big impact. This match, no impact from subs. Maybe Eren and Kazımcan, I'll give them like a 6.5. But I'm going to be starting everyone's rating at a 6 and then kind of building off that. So, at goal, Urcan didn't have a great game. I think he had like 4 shots come towards him. He saved like 1 or 2. Well, yeah, it would be if he had 4 shots come towards at the goal. He saves 2, the other 2 go in. That's why. I gave him 5.5. I took 0.5 off of him because I don't know, he hasn't been the same since he came back in the preseason matches. Since he came back from the World Cup, he hasn't looked the same, and I feel like he's not making amazing saves. The first goal, he doesn't even try to reach. He dives for the ball, but he's not like extending his arm completely. He probably thought the ball was going to go out, but I feel like he should have tried at least for that. And in the second goal, he comes off his line, even though he sees Davinson Sanchez. I'm gonna get into Davinson Sanchez too. He sees Davinson Sanchez chasing the guy down, and he gets off his line way too much. He doesn't go for the ball. He doesn't do anything. He just like stutters around, and the ball gets chipped over him. So that's why I just took off 0.5 off of him. I could have maybe given him a 6, but he didn't do anything really. That's why, and he did make a mistake or 2. So, Shalai had alright, it's just an okay performance. I gave him 0.5 because his passing was decent. He had a couple key passes in here and there. Just nothing crazy about him. Sanchez, we did not see him once in preseason. This is his first actual game the whole season, including preseason. We didn't even see him play 1 minute in the preseason. We didn't know if he was going to be ready or not. And I'm not going to lie, I would have given him a 6.5 or so if he didn't make the mistake of the getting the second goal scored on, when they scored out the second goal against us. It's just, I don't know, he doesn't look, he looks fit and he looks all right. I feel like he slowed down just a little bit and his decision making kind of went down again. I don't know if it's because of the World Cup mentality, like them coming back, or they're fatigued, or they're like kind of over this team for some reason. They're over the 4 years we were champions, this, and they're not really hungry anymore. I don't know what it is yet. We're probably going to see it later on in the season, and we're probably going to see some reports coming in and out of the team on why the team is having problems. But it's just he had a bad pass, mistake led to a goal. That's why I could have given him a 6 maybe, but I just wanted to kind of lower him from that 6 range, just to say that these two were like the Urcan's, Davinson Sanchez was the biggest outliers of the team, biggest problems of the team today. Up to get him at an okay performance, nothing. It was just simple for him. Just 6 means that they neither did anything good or anything bad. They were just there to do whatever they had to do, just regular business. It wasn't anything like outstanding on defense, anything outstanding on attack, or anything like that. And then I gave Jakobs a 6 as well. Didn't really see a lot from him, actually. His defending was all right. He would go out on attack a lot and not do a lot, and then have to run all the way back just to mark the player that's at the right wing role for Çorum. Just an all right performance. Neither wanted to give him 6.5 or 5.5, just all around average again. And then getting into the midfield impressed me today. Torreira had a decent amount of good ground duels. I'm pretty sure he had he was pretty successful. I would say 75% ground duel rate. defending was decent from him. He had an assist. It was a pretty good assist to Osimhen. And his passing, his decision making was really good. A lot of people are saying, which some things I do agree with Torreira. A lot of people are saying that he can't track back, and he's a defensive liability on counterattacks. I agree with that. I completely agree with that. Whenever he pushes up way too far, he's he's kind of the number 6 of this team, right? He's a defensive midfielder of this team, because Sara's more so the playmaking midfielder, and then Yunus is of course the attacking midfielder of the team. If he's supposed to be doing this, he should not be pushing up. But the only reason he does do that is because he's really good at pressing the other team. He's very good at that. But the problem is, once that press breaks, he has to run back to fill this role in front of the center backs of the team, which is a big problem because his running is not, his physical attributes are very low, and it's been degrading slowly every single year. We've been seeing it slowly, and if he's gonna be playing this role instead of playing like a little bit higher, I would have to say he's gonna have to stay back on pressing and all that, and more so become a holding midfielder that's also some sort of deep playmaker, because his playmaking skills are very good, and I think he did kind of gain some attributes in his playmaking. His decision making and passing is pretty good for Torreira. I mean, we all knew that his decision making and passing was good, but I feel like he figured out that on offense, at least, that his physical attributes aren't going to be good. He's not going to be able to dribble the ball. He's not going to be able to go all the way and take a shot every now and then. So he's relying to staying in and around this midfield area to start up some play. But the thing is, when we're on defense, he has to stop sprinting forward for the press, which is what Okan Buruk is telling him to do, the coach. And we have to figure out if we want to play him more deep or more up, because Sara is not a defensive midfielder. Sara is not going to be able to defend this in front of the center backs, in front of the, or when the right back and the left back goes all the way up, he's not going to be able to defend that all by himself. So that's one thing I just wanted to say about Torreira. That's why I give Torreira 7.5. It's a pretty good boost. He played a good game in my opinion. And then Sara, he had like 8 key passes, sorry. And I gave him an 8. He had a pretty good game. Passing was pretty good. Playmaking was pretty good. His corners are back, I think, because he had a lot of key passes off corners. It was going straight to the head of some players, which is amazing to see, because last year we were struggling with set piece goals. This season we already have 1 set piece goal, and it's because of Sara leading the set pieces again, which is very amazing to see in my opinion. So I gave him an 8. And the first goal, that was actually an offside. Sara to Yunus. Sara puts a dime to Yunus, and Yunus reaches a ball with a header, a curved header towards the bottom left of the goal, I'm pretty sure, which is called offside, which I was really sad about, because that was a very amazing start to the game. It was like the first, it was under the 10-minute mark, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So that was a very amazing start to the game, but it was called offside. And we should have built off that momentum, we found this goal, we can, find even more goals, we could do this, we could do that. But, it just didn't work out. And then going on to Yunus, without the corner kicks that Sara took, Sara had like 8 key passes. Yunus had 8 key passes in the game, just regular open play. Yunus looked like Messi today. He slowed down in the second half, I would agree, but he looked like Messi today. His passing was amazing. His link-up play was amazing. His dribbling was amazing. The only thing I'm going to say that kept him from like a 9 or a 9.5 today is that his shooting. Oh, he has to work. Actually, the whole team, the last like 10-15 minutes of the game, 20 minutes of the game, the team, for some reason, instead of trying to stop the ball, control the ball, because the defense wasn't really attacking them that much because they were playing park the bus, control the ball, take the cleaner shot. We were always going for the ball coming, and then we just shoot it immediately. Like the ball's rolling towards us, we shoot it immediately. Yunus could have had a 9.5 game if he got those shooting statistics on target at least, or he had a goal or something like that, because he had a couple of chances like that where he just shoots it while the ball's just rolling towards him at a pretty decent speed, instead of stopping the ball, setting up the ball a little bit, and then trying to get that finesse into it. And I loved how Yunus played. That's why it's he's the second highest rated player on the team, and it could have been better. It could have been he could have had a 9 or a 9.5 in my opinion. And then just quickly, the wings were kind of mediocre. They were all right. I gave them 6.5 because they had a couple of decent dribbles. They fought hard. Their passing was, it was all right. It was mid, and nothing crazy. And then lastly, Osimhen had 2 goals today. Osimhen, I'm gonna congratulate him, of course, for the 2 goals, and it was amazing goals, 2 amazing goals. Um, he has to like this is the biggest problem with Osimhen. He really needs to learn how to control his offsides and stay onside. Sorry, because he goes offside and he doesn't realize it because he's in that like tunnel vision state of play where he's like just like an animal like trying to attack their prey, and he doesn't realize it. Sometimes the players don't give the passes, especially Yunus, because Yunus sees Osimhen is offside, and then Osimhen gets very frustrated. I understand because he's kind of losing himself in the game, but he has to control his offsides because he was offside at least 5 times this match, and we've seen him go offsides very often last season and the season before. He really has to learn how to stay onside. If he learns that, he could have a hat trick like almost every game. I'm not joking. This guy's amazing. He's a unit. He's an athlete. It's actually amazing to see him play, but he just needs to control those offsides. I can't believe it because that first goal, oh my god! If he was offside, I would have been so angry at the TV. He takes the ball so elegantly, tosses it over the goalkeeper, and then chips a wide open net like from a very side angle, like around this area of the box where I'm pointing out. It was just an amazing goal. And the second goal, the header, the athleticism, he got a couple good headers this match. They weren't on target, which I'm not really mad about because he's at least getting the service done that he wasn't getting done last season that we were complaining about. That's why we wanted, a decent winger like Noah Long to come in again because his passing and his crossing is a bit better than Badish and Sane's, at least Badish's, I'll say. And a number 10 like Batrako or John Uzun, whatever, to, service in, Osimhen. And today we saw the service to Osimhen, and Osimhen couldn't finish. I'm not angry about him not being able to finish and not, getting a third goal. So we won 3-2. I'm just mad about the other players not, setting up their shots properly sometimes, and then the defense and the goalkeeper mostly were the annoying part for this match. And I heard a couple rumors about Osimhen, possibly wanting to, go to Arsenal. I think they went to the false, area of the rumor. They're not true, I'm pretty sure. But if Osimhen leaves, we're nothing without him, in my opinion. I mean, we're still something. I'm not gonna say we're nothing because that's like downplaying the entire team's efforts for every single match. But he is a very big part of this team, and I hope he never leaves his team. And it's just truly amazing to watch him play. And it was just a tough draw, and it could have been handled a lot better, in my opinion. After the game, it looked like we lost the championship or we got eliminated from Champions League or something like that. And I like to see players like that understand what's actually going on with the season, the transfers, the board, and the match that they played, what actually happened today. And hopefully we have a bright season in front of us if these transfers come in and we get reinforced, because this starting lineup was pretty decent today, apart from the defense. And these backups can really come in and maybe take over the team, especially a winger backup, a number 10 backup when Yunus, gets tired, because he gets tired pretty quickly. 65th, 75th minute, around there, he should be getting taken out because he plays very physically and he doesn't have that physical stature of Badish, though. He plays very physically, kind of like Badish, but, he doesn't have the physical stature to keep up with Badish. That's the thing that I wanted to say about Yunus. But I saw a lot of, progress after the preseason matches ended, and it was enjoying to watch, actually, this team play pretty decently after all those, mediocre preseason matches. And I was actually surprised that we played very well, but it's just we couldn't keep the consistency throughout the game. We were consistent for like a good 45 minutes. We were patchy in the second half, and that's those patches need to be filled up. That's where we got scored on twice. So other than that, it was just a tough draw. It could have been handled a lot better, and I think we're seeing the problems again, and we're seeing that Okamura can't solve it without transfers because multiple attacking options left the team and none of them came in. So if we fill in these gaps, I think we have a pretty bright season ahead of us because the team looked pretty decent aside from the patchiness, and hopefully we can recover for the second week. And I hope that we do get these transfers and some of these players actually pick up their form and pick up their mental into the second week. And I hope to see you guys there after a win. So I'm just going to leave you guys with that, and hopefully you guys like the video and subscribe. Have a great day. Peace out.